The power of negative thinking. Hello, this is Chris speaking, Shores of Infinity, with a video about the power of negative thinking. There are lots of videos about positive thinking, so I thought I'll do a video about negative thinking. And not only that, because we all know the disadvantages, the dangers of negative thinking, but what about the power, the advantages? The pros of negative thinking. The negative aspects of negative thinking are, of course, these things in your head, you telling yourself all the time that you're a worthless piece of shit. There's no advantage in that. So what are the advantages of negative thinking? Well, it has to do with time. Looking back, you can use negative thinking, and you are using negative thinking, to consider, okay, that was a mistake. I can't do it like that. I will get hurt, or it doesn't work, whatever. I have to do it differently. This way it doesn't work. Negative thinking towards the past. Learning something from it, not just ruminating on it. Oh God, I made a mistake, or I'm so stupid. No, but learning from it. In the future, I will do it differently. So, positive thinking towards the future. In the future, I will do it differently. Or, for example, I want to drive home now, but I'm drunk, so I won't drive my own car because I could cause an accident. Or another example, if I eat unhealthy food all the time, like fast food and ultra-processed food, then in a few years I might die from a heart disease. This is not an unrealistic fear projected into the future, like, I don't know, the world will end in 5 years, or I will get eaten by a demon, or whatever fears people have. But something realistic, a warning for the future that is helpful for me now. And then negative thinking in the present. Right now, I'm not happy, so I have to act differently. I cannot expect different results from the same actions. If I'm not happy right now, I have to do something else. Now, the trick about thinking in general is that it goes on by itself. It doesn't need you as a person, as an ego, as a me, as an I. It will go on anyway, because it's part of our survival mechanism. Thinking is part of our survival mechanism. So no matter if positive or negative thinking, it will go on anyway to ensure your survival. You don't need to enhance your abilities and skills of positive or negative thinking. That's why it also doesn't make sense for people to learn positive thinking. Yeah, sure, of course it's nicer to have positive thoughts than negative thoughts. If you castigate yourself all the time with negative thinking, with self-loathing, then it is probably better to change that into self-love and self-respect, and the idea that you can do anything you like, that you don't have to be stuck. But both are modes of thinking, and you don't need thinking for anything. Often people write to me and ask me, what do you think about that? Or I thought about this. I'm currently working on this and that subject. Yeah, for what? And who is doing this thinking? It's going on by itself. It's your mind thinking by itself, no matter if you want to or not. You still have this crazy idea in your head that you have the powers of agency, that you can do whatever you want, that you can decide what you want. If that is true, then change everything that bothers you. I have yet to meet the person who can demonstrate to me that there is such a thing as free will. I've never seen it, I've never witnessed it. I'm a very strong determinist, because that is so far everything I have experienced. There is no such a thing as free will. So thinking about things is a waste of time. The survival thinking as I said, will continue anyway, no matter if you're identified with it or with your ego or not. Real spirituality on the path to enlightenment, spiritual enlightenment, is about telling your thoughts to fuck the shut up, to shut the fuck up. And no one cares if they're positive thoughts or negative thoughts or whatever thoughts, they're still thoughts. Thoughts are a waste of time no matter what you think about. And if you think about spiritual topics, then you're twice fucked. Because your mind then will tell you, yeah, but I'm thinking about spirituality, so this is a worthwhile endeavor. The fuck it is. It's a bloody waste of time to think about anything. You have to get out of this mode that thinking has any value whatsoever except the survival part, which will go on anyway. It doesn't need a me, an I, a you for it to happen. What you're looking for is intuitive knowledge, what the Greeks called episteme and the Romans called scientia intuitiva, however you want to pronounce it. It's intuitive knowledge. Same in Indian and Chinese and whatever mysticism and ancient philosophy. It's intuition you're looking for, not more thinking. You cannot think about things like the truth or infinity or the absolute or enlightenment because thinking is not made for that. Thinking is a dual thing, good or bad, black and white, and so on. When people tell me, I think it's that way, or I wonder if it's this way, my first reaction is, who? Who is wondering? Who is thinking here? I tell you who it is. It is your ego trying to reaffirm itself, especially if you already had awakenings or periods, shorter periods of enlightenment or higher consciousness. Your ego will try to reaffirm and reestablish itself again and again and again. And the first thing is it will start thinking again. One of the main hallmarks, one of the main landmarks, attributes, whatever you want to call it, of enlightened people is that there's no thinking going on except this basic survival stuff I talked about. There is no thinking going on. Maybe if you need to calculate something, yeah? One of my teachers, Nero, used to say that as an example always. When you buy something to count your change, you return money, then of course you need to think a little bit. Or if you buy anything, if it's a good deal or whatever. But then the thinking will come back, that is what it is made for. For anything else, if it's not about calculation, not about mathematics or basic survival stuff, it's absolutely useless, especially in spirituality. It doesn't matter if it's positive or negative thinking. So, or let's put it this way. If you're still thinking, if thinking is still happening unbidden, if thoughts are still flying through your mind, you're not awake and not enlightened. Yeah? You're not awake and not enlightened because that is the main sign that this happened, that you're not thinking anymore. It's absolutely silent up there until you need to use it for things like calculation. Or until someone asks you a question and then an answer comes and then it's silent again. If there's still babbling in your head, some internal dialogue, there's no higher state of consciousness possible. But once you reach this stopping of the internal dialogue, once you reach this inner silence and inner peace, the ego will try to come back again and again and again. And don't let it. And here, to close the circle, the power of negative thinking is, this happened so often that people fell out of higher states of consciousness and the ego was trying to come back again and again and again and managed to. That here the power of negative thinking is to learn from it and not to fall into the same trap And just whenever thinking occurs, stop it immediately. Nip it in the bud. There is no such a thing as an important thought. It's a contradiction in itself. Thank you for watching and liking. Thank you to all my Patreons, and thank you for joining me as a Patreon, and see you soon.